Hi guys, Sam here from Landscape Plus. We are looking at irrigation today, so you should have already looked at our video that explains different types of irrigation and how you would plan a system in a garden. Right now, I'm going to look at a few different products and look at how you zone a system. So first of all, let me go through some products. Looking on the tap-based side of things, you will generally start off a system with a tap splitter. That just enables, if you've only got one timer on there, it enables the client to be able to use a hose pipe. There's nothing worse on an irrigation system than when the client turns the tap off rather than turning one of these off. So make sure they don't do that at any point. But what that will allow you to do is to fix one of these onto your tap splitter. So I've got a couple of different variations. They're just different brands that we supply. So I've got a single zone Klaber one here. This is one of their new solar tap-based timers. So that just times your irrigation, gives you one zone there. Or to give two zones, I've got one of the Hunter Bluetooth timers here. Just two outlets there, so it gives you two different variations that we're going to touch on shortly. Stepping up through there on the bigger side of irrigation, so when you're looking at tank and pump systems generally, we would move on to a Hunter system. So this is one of the Hunter X2s. Open it up there. This one is a 6-station, so 6 different zones in there. Really straightforward. And then that would feed on to a bank of solenoid valves. So much like this. A lot of people get really daunted when looking at this type of system. And the thing I always say to people is when you look there, I've showed you the timer and the solenoid valves. Realistically, when you look at a tap-based timer, the front of that is your timer. So that's the big grey box that I've just showed you. And then your solenoid valve is that bit in the back there. So when we're talking to people about zoning irrigation, there's a couple of different reasons that you would do that. The first of which is that your irrigation within a garden is quite simply more thirsty, if you like, than the tap or the tank and pump that you're using to supply it. So that is looking at either the pressure or the flow rate. If your irrigation requires more pressure or more flow than the source of water that you've got, splitting it down into zones is a great way to get around that. The other side of things could be that the garden has different requirements. So if you're looking at a freshly planted hedge, or if you're looking at small containers, clearly you're going to want to water that at different times for different lengths. It could also be down to soil variation within the garden. So if you've got a really clayey soil and a really sandy soil, going to need different requirements. Could be down to shade and sunlight levels, or it could quite simply be down to a part of the garden is going to go onto a temporary irrigation system, whereas some of the garden is going to be on a permanent system. So there's loads of different reasons you might want to zone it down. Really simple to do so. If you've got any questions, reach out, give us a call.